And here Huxley gives an excerpt from the Surangama Sutra. The Surangama is one that I am now in the process of reciting. I'm going to provide that to my friend Sean in London, and he is going to connect it with English and Chinese screenshots, the text, and at some point in the future, hopefully you'll be able to see that. The Surangama Sutra, where Huxley quotes it as saying, "It is by means of tranquility of mind that you are able to transmute this false mind of death and rebirth into the clear, intuitive mind, and by so doing to realize the primal and enlightening essence of mind. You should make this your starting point for spiritual practices. Having harmonized your starting point with your goal, you will be able by right practice to attain your true end of perfect enlightenment. If you wish to tranquilize your mind and restore its original purity, you must proceed as you would do if you were purifying a jar of muddy water. You first let it stand until the sediment settles at the bottom, when the water will become clear, which corresponds with the state of the mind before it was troubled by defiling passions. Then you carefully strain off the pure water. When the mind becomes tranquilized and concentrated into perfect unity, then all things will be seen, not in their separateness, but in their unity, wherein there is no place for the passions to enter, and which is in full conformity with the mysterious and indescribable purity of nirvana." And now a snippet from the Pali Canon in the Theravadan tradition, specifically from the Dhammapada. Huxley quotes, "He abused me. He beat me. He defeated me. He robbed me. In those who harbor such thoughts, hatred will never cease. He abused me. He beat me. He defeated me. He robbed me. In those who do not harbor such thoughts, hatred will cease. For hatred does not cease by hatred at any time." Okay, here's a brief snippet, just a sentence long, from a sutra that I'm not familiar with. It's called the Sutra on the Distinction and Protection of the Dharma. It says, "When a person practices charity in order to be reborn in heaven, or for fame, or reward, or from fear, such charity can obtain no pure effect." Here's another one from a text I'm not familiar with called 101 Zen Stories. Ga-san instructed his adherents one day, "Those who speak against killing, and those who desire to spare the lives of all conscious beings, are right. It is good to protect even animals and insects. But what about those persons who kill time? What about those who destroy wealth? And those who murder the economy of their society? We should not overlook them. Again, what of the one who preaches without enlightenment? He is killing Buddhism." Well, I don't feel like I'm enlightened, but I hope I'm not guilty of killing Buddhism. I love Buddhism and want to promulgate it, but I'll let y'all be the judge. Going now to a quote from Huineng, the sixth patriarch of Chan Buddhism. "There is nothing true anywhere. The true is nowhere to be found. If you say you see the true, this seeing is not the true one. When the true is left to itself, there is nothing false in it, for it is mind itself. When mind in itself is not liberated from the false, there is nothing true. Nowhere is the true to be found." And from the Profound Diamond Sutra, "What is known as the teaching of the Buddha is not the teaching of the Buddha." And from the Lankavatara Sutra, "With the lamp of word and discrimination, one must go beyond word and discrimination and enter upon the path of realization." One more from Huineng. "This truth is to be lived. It is not to be merely pronounced with the mouth. There is really nothing to argue about in this teaching. Any arguing is sure to go against the intent of it. Doctrines given up to controversy and argumentation lead of themselves to birth and death. Here's another quote from the Dhammapada. It is mind which gives to things their quality, their foundation, and their being. Whoever speaks or acts with impure mind, him sorrow follows, as the wheel follows the steps of the ox that draws the cart. And another one from the Lankavatara. Nirvana is where there is no birth, no extinction. It is seen into the state of suchness, absolutely transcending all the categories constructed by mind, for it is the Tathagata's inner consciousness. And what about this term Tathagata? The Diamond Sutra says, the word Tathagata, one of the names of the Buddha, signifies one who does not go anywhere and does not come from anywhere, and therefore he is called Tathagata, or thus gone, holy and fully enlightened. The Diamond Sutra also indicates that the Lord Buddha warned Subhuti, saying, Subhuti, do not think that the Tathagata ever considers in his own mind, I ought to enunciate a system of teaching for the elucidation of the Dharma. You should never cherish such a thought. And why? Because if any disciple harbored such a thought, he or she would not only be misunderstanding the Tathagata's teaching, but he or she would be slandering him as well. Moreover, the expression, a system of teaching, has no meaning. For truth, in the sense of reality, cannot be cut up into pieces and arranged into a system. The words can only be used as a figure of speech. Wow, how profound. The Diamond Sutra, I can never tire of hearing it. So another quote from the Surangama, which I think has a big emphasis on practice. Here it says, the value of this practice, namely repetition of the name of Amitabha Buddha, how about that? Starting over. The value of this practice, repetition of the name of Amitabha Buddha, is this. So long as one person practices his method of spirituality and another practices a different method, they counterbalance one another and their meeting is just the same as their not meeting. Whereas, if two persons practice the same method, their mindfulness tends to become deeper and deeper, and they tend to remember each other and to develop affinities for each other, life after life. Moreover, whoever recites the name of Amitabha Buddha, whether in the present time or in future time, will surely see the Buddha Amitabha, and never become separated from him. By reason of that association, just as one associating with a maker of perfumes becomes permeated with the same perfumes, so he or she will become perfumed by Amitabha's compassion, and will become enlightened without resort to any other expedient means. Cool, very cool. It's not the system of pure grace that Shinran articulated, but is certainly an important precursor to that. And here Huxley quotes the Lankavatara regarding a certain practice. In his exercise, the yogin sees imaginatively the form of the sun or moon, or something looking like a lotus, or the underworld, or various forms, such as sky, fire, and the like. All these appearances lead him or her in the way of the philosophers. They throw him down into the state of Shravakahood, into the realm of the Pratyeka Buddhas. When all these are put aside and there is a state of imagelessness, then a condition in conformity with suchness presents itself, and the Buddhas will come together from all their countries and with their shining hands will touch the head of this benefactor. Wow, isn't that a comforting image? So there you have it. Those are several Buddhist quotes from Aldous Huxley's Perennial Philosophy, which, if you haven't ever been exposed to the book, I would certainly recommend it. And with that, I'll close by reciting the Nembutsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu.